everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm starting a new collection of time lapses and I'm going to be hopping into another childhood neighbor of mine, the 100 Acre Wood. This is a book that I got as part of a crochet kit about half my lifetime ago. And at the time I only ever made two of the figures, and these two, Pooh and Piglet. And then the book's kind of just hung out on my shelf since then, because a lot of the other patterns required felt, and I wasn't going to jump in and get the felt to construct stuff. Unlike other pattern books where it's like, you want to make a green horse? Go ahead. Which I think I did do actually. I made a green unicorn once actually. Like, the Winnie the Pooh characters felt weird to make in colors other than the colors in which I saw them on the television, so I didn't attempt them. However, now I'm going to go through them. I'm actually going to make every single one. I'm going to start with who else but Winnie the Pooh, the main character of the series. And I mean, what else is there to say about Winnie the Pooh? He's adorable. He's a character who loves honey, maybe a little bit too much. But he knows what he likes, and he asks for it. Personally, I am very familiar with the neighborhood of Winnie the Pooh, maybe at a little bit more of a later age than you would expect, because in addition to being inundated with all the Disney Winnie the Pooh media stuff when I was younger, I also read the original books. Like, I always had The World of Christopher Robin in my bookshelf. It was one of those books where you don't know where it came from exactly, but you know somebody gave it to you. It just ended up on your bookshelf as a little kid. And that was like a collection of like two separate books of poems, When We Were Young and Now We Are Six, I think they are called. And then my sister had The World of Pooh, which was the two Winnie the Pooh books, which, like many of my sister's books, later became mine because I took it. I read them over and over again, especially since at the time when I was reading the original stories, I was probably like 12, 13-ish. My level of peak anxiety would hit like at age 14, first year of high school. The Winnie the Pooh books, like the original Winnie the Pooh stories, were like in my mind were considered safe. Like if they were the last thing I read before I went to sleep, I wouldn't have any bad thoughts. Whether that worked or not, it was debatable. I needed better ways of dealing with my anxiety at the time. I did end up going to see the Heffalump movie when it came out in movie theaters. I was 13, which was obviously not the target audience, but it was a good movie. It's a very nice movie. It's been a while since I watched it. Yeah, I'm very familiar with all these characters, and I'm really excited to be delving into this. So I'm going to start with the time lapse now and bring Winnie the Pooh to life again. I finished Pooh Bear, so he looks a bit demented in my version. But that's my own fault. The pattern wanted me to cut felt circles and glue the felt circles on. And while I bought felt specifically because I knew I was doing these time lapses, I didn't feel like busting it out for the first pattern. So I just repeated like the circle with the noses for the eyes, and especially since I knew I could get like extra thread and start like sewing it on. And well, it's my own fault that Pooh Bear looks demented. If I was to do this pattern again, I would do some of the steps in a different order. Like, well, one, I would get safety eyes for Winnie the Pooh, like just solid black safety eyes, and just put them through. And then also, I would make the arms earlier than I did, and then sew them, like they wanted me to sew the arms through the body and the shirt. Like you probably saw, I made the shirt separately and then put the shirt through it. If I have to sew the arms through the shirt and the body, I would have done that before I stuffed the body, so that way I could get more secure with sewing, because these arms, the way that I sewed them on, they don't feel very secure to me. Like if this is being played with a very careful kid, this wouldn't break, but if this was being played with a very destructive kid, well, or a dog, the arms would be the first thing to go. Yeah, this went a little bit quicker than I was expecting it to, actually. He's still pretty adorable. Also, when it came to stuffing, I do save a lot of my yarn scraps for stuffing things in the future. But when it came to Winnie the Pooh, canonically, he's stuffed with fluff. So I'm very glad I used fluff, even though this Pooh Bear, because he was worked in the round, is not going to split open in the seams in the back, and then Pooh's just like stuffing his stuffing back in him and sews himself back up. That's the thing that happened in the television series, not the actual books, if I remember right. That was like an actual clip that happened. Coddleston, Coddleston, Coddleston pie. Why does a chicken? I don't know why. That's not really Pooh's voice. That's more yours. Like, oh bother, I want some honey. Next time, I'm going to do another character. That was today's entertainment. Have a nice day.